RW Arms, a small, 100% veteran-owned and operated company. Mark Maxwell's a veteran, and he did protection for the Clintons on Marine One while in service. Hello, Mark Maxwell. How are you?
I'm doing good, Wayne. How are you doing today?
I think I'm supposed to say "oorah" when I speak to you. Is that kind of...
Well, I would appreciate that. Oorah.
I'm really sorry you took care of the Clintons, but I'm not going to get into that now. So that was a waste of your time.
we respect the office. No
yes, we respect the office. I agree.
Privilege of holding that position. It really was spectacular.
And by the way, I don't really, in case Right Wing Watch is watching, they like to listen to every word I say and then put it out there. I don't want any harm to ever come of any liberal, including the Clintons, ever. I don't want them to ever be hurt. I don't want anyone to touch a toe, a finger, or a hair on their head. I just want to put Hillary in jail for the last 100 years. That's all. All right. So Mark's with us, president and co-founder of RW Arms, the largest bump stock supplier in the nation. You know, I'm in Vegas. We just had that terrible Vegas massacre. Everybody blamed it on the bump stock. You know what I always say? It's never the gun. It's not the bump stock. It's not the gun sight. It's the person. The person's a bad person. 99% of everyone who uses that same gun or that bump stock is a nice, wonderful, law-abiding American citizen that will use it in a positive way to save someone's life or protect their family. What right has anybody got or any government got to try and ban anything because one person does something bad with it? I assume that's pretty much your argument.
Oh, of course it is. Obviously, we can talk about it. This is the first go because this is the low-hanging fruit. We are a small, veteran-owned company. We controlled 100% of distribution and sales for bump stocks for almost a year now. We did purchase all the remaining inventory, and it's clearly a Second Amendment overreach in our opinion, and I think the law is on our side on that.
Yeah, look, it's a total overreach. You have to, because one guy does something bad, you have no right to ban it for everybody else. Tell people out there, what does a bump stock really do, and why does somebody want to have one?
So bump stock is really just another way to get the trigger to reset while you're holding on the semi-automatic rifle with both hands. So 2 pieces of plastic is all that makes up a bump stock. They slide together, and as you are holding the weapon firmly, you pull the rifle forward, and your trigger hits your finger while it's on a finger rest. Now, your finger remains stationary. The gun recoils, and you're pulling it back forward. That's all bump firing is. Now, bump stock just gives you the safest way to bump fire because it requires both hands to be firmly on the firearm.
Now, you're seeking, your company again is RW Arms, and you're seeking monetary damages for the 72,400 bump stocks destroyed by the bump stock ban that went into effect March 26th. It cost you a $20 million loss. What do you do now with your company? Is that the only thing you make, or you make other products too?
No, we went back and looked at numbers when all this was coming down the final days, and bump stocks and the bump stock accessories that go with them only for those products accounted for about 40% of our total business. And while, yes, this was a loss that well exceeded $20 million, it is not putting us out of business. We are still selling everything from high-capacity magazines to triggers and binary triggers, but we're also expanding our product lines.
And so, here's the thing I don't get as a capitalist and a free market guy. Of course, I'm against government banning anything. Government has no right to ban a private industry choice or a private person's choice. If they want to buy it, they have a right to buy it. If they do something wrong with it, throw them in jail. But if they are going to do it, Mark Maxwell, if they are, I don't agree they should, and I agree you should sue them. But if government does it, don't they have a responsibility to pay you for all the bump stocks that they've ruined, that they're burning, that they're taking away from people? You'd think even if they did do it, and I disagree they should do it, you disagree they should do it, I get it. But if they do it, doesn't government have a responsibility to pay for it? How can they take something for free?
Well, why don't we separate out the Second Amendment argument? That's going to be held by, Gun Owners of America and Firearms Policy Coalition and the others that are fighting for that. That's an injunctive lawsuit. Talk about ours, which is simply a Fifth Amendment takings case. It doesn't matter if it's bump stocks in this case are anything to do with the Second Amendment. It could be any personal property that was completely legal at time of ownership, manufacturing, and purchase. And with a simple rule change, not legislation, they deemed it illegal to own, and we were forced to destroy, it was 73,400 bump stocks in one day.
Amazing. And this is not just a loss to you. It's a loss to every person who owns a bump stock, right? In other words, you're supposed to voluntarily hand over your bump stock. So each person in America, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people own bump stocks, but I'm sure it's a lot, all are supposed to hand it over or be subject to a penalty of up to 10 years in federal prison and $250,000 in fines. And I assume they hand it back with no compensation, just like you got no compensation.
Well, Wayne, that's a very interesting point. We are looking into what we can do for all of our customers and our clients. The funny thing in this is the DOJ, on their initial reports, grossly underestimated how many bump stocks were in the market. We know the number is actually closer to 1 million and as high as 1.2 million bump stocks in the market. There's been no compensation other than Washington at a very small level. About $150,000 was authorized in Washington, and now you're right. DOJ's own report, in conjunction with the ATF, has required everyone who possesses or owns a bump stock to either destroy it or to turn it into an ATF office. The numbers that have been turned in are unsurprisingly low.
And you must be surprised, as I am, that Trump ever fell for this, because Trump is so pro-gun and so conservative and pro-military and pro-police, and it makes no sense he'd ever go along with the liberals and do something like this. He must have been under tremendous pressure because of the Vegas massacre to do something, so he figured, I won't do anything to guns, but I'll get rid of the bump stocks. Who'll care? That's probably the thought process, right?
Well, correct. I think we can all agree that we were the low-hanging fruit. We were the easy one. Which one's next? Is it large capacity magazines? Is it binary triggers? Is it optics? Is it no one needs a scope that can sight in more than 5 power? We're going to see some interesting things, but even more than that, the NRA actually proposed quite a bit of this in conjunction with the White House and the Department of Justice.
Because they were looking to save the meat of their industry, I assume. Just guns in general pays them hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and you guys are tiny compared to them. So they killed basically the low-lying fruit.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so what do you think is going to happen here? First of all, do you have any idea when this is going to come to trial?
Well, we do. So the judge, as I was getting on the phone with you, we were supposed to have an answer to our complaint in by yesterday midnight. They weren't ready for their answer. They needed they were allowed 14 more days. I just got that news as of 10 minutes ago. And so the government now has 14 more days to put together their answer to our complaint. So that side and the takings case is very different than the injunctive lawsuit. And we are keeping very close eye on the Gun Owners of America case in Michigan. That one looks very healthy to be able to get an injunction in place. The other would be the Firearms Policy Coalition, which has already been heard twice within the chambers of the Supreme Court, and it's about to be in front of the Supreme Court.
All right. Well, I'm a member of NRA. I'm a member of Jews for the Preservation of Firearms. I'm a Jew, and I love the Second Amendment, and I love guns, and I love Trump. And I'm on your team, Mark Maxwell. I wish you a lot of luck. I hope to hear good news in the lawsuit. You deserve to win. I'm not going to comment on whether bump stocks are good or bad. It's none of the government's business whether they're good or bad. Individuals have a right to choose to use them, and I'm on your team. So go get them, man.
Thank you very much, Wayne, for having me on.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for coming on the show. We'll be right back. More now.